Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
The Boxing Voice, bringing you the most relevant news and latest rumors in the sport of boxing from around the world, while delivering diverse opinions and thought-provoking insights from a revolving cast of panelists. The most relevant guests in boxing, answering hard-hitting questions and touching on the topics that interest you the most. Correspondents from all over the globe giving us the inside track on what's happening from fight town to fight town, and access to the inner workings of events allows you, the listener, a chance to get inside the fight. From continent to continent, coast to coast, we give you, the caller, a consistent outlet to voice your opinions on topics relevant to you by subscribing to iTunes, creating a tight-knit community by connecting the sweet science's most enthusiastic fans. Now, Nestor Gibbs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice. I am your host, Ness GTO, obviously, and we're going to be talking today some Jermell Charlo, some Joachim Alcine, some Tony Thompson versus Malik Scott, and all the boxing that took place this weekend. I want to obviously direct everyone over to ThaBoxingVoice.com and ask that you continue to support and share any articles that our writers may write. And, just stay in the know. Definitely subscribe to the email list there so you can always be updated. Remember to use our hashtag TBV podcast when trying to communicate with the live show. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Very important that you subscribe, help us with those shares because that definitely increases visibility. So the number to call in is 646-478-3068. Press 1 if you want to talk. Today is Crow Day, and I have to say, the Beeb just continues to get it right. You guys better learn your lessons. No one picked Scott. Very few. I think it was like 2 people. So everyone bow down to the Beeb is all that I'm going to say. A lot of Crow will be given.
He wants the title shot at the Beeb. He's not even running. He wants the title shot at the Beeb.
Well, I just want to tell you a quick short story. I was at the eye doctor's a couple weeks ago. The eye doctor was looking at my eyes underneath the lamp, and he said, "Mr. Abib," because he calls me Mr. Abib. He doesn't call me Beeb. He doesn't know me like that. He said, "Mr. Abib, because you have the most unique lenses in your eyes. I've never seen lenses like this before." You know what I told him? I told him because I have the Beeb vision. You have to understand one thing. 50 people called in. And I'm not boasting here. I'm just trying to explain myself here. 50 people called in. Another 50 on Twitter. They all picked Tony Thompson. And the Beeb told you, no, Malik Scott's going to win this fight. How does that happen? I'm not being boastful. I'm not bragging. I'm not saying I told you so. I just want to let you guys know I have a gift. I can just see things that the normal human being cannot see. And I've been trying to pull you over into the Beeb force for years, Ness, but you just continue to be on the dark side, and you've infected Robbie. He's on the dark side. James, he's like my apprentice. He's starting to come under my wing. He picked Malik Scott. I'm just trying to help you guys. I'm that third eye that you guys need. When you have that jeweler that can look at a diamond with the loop, and he can see all the little imperfections, but the average person can't see the imperfections. I can just watch fights. I'm going to call BlockStrike tomorrow, and I'm going to give them all your IP addresses, Ness. I'm going to tell them, block this guy from the site. I want you to watch fights. I want you to analyze fights. I want you to learn styles and how they match up against each other. Stop going on records. So this guy got beat up by his sister when he was 10. We don't need that info. We need to look at the styles. We don't throw a guy out and put him in the trash because he lost a fight. We got to look at what his true potential is and where he is right now in his career and what he can do. And Malik Scott knows how to box. He's a good boxer.
You do know you got one right? Because
what about Delorme?
I picked Postal.
All right, what about Delorme?
Delorme versus who?
Kareem Mayfield. Everyone said, oh, no, there's no way Delorme is going to beat Mayfield. And I picked that one. Cotto. Holyfield, 13-1 underdog back in the day against Tyson. I picked that one. There's so many examples.
Yo, the inception of the voice wasn't even around. This dude's really picking. Listen, anyway, moving on. Introducing.
It was an embryo, though.
All the way from Corpus Christi, the one and only Mario Munguia.
It's me, Mario.
What up, what up, what up? So, where do we start? What an action-packed week, huh? It was good. Some good fights. I enjoyed them. Can't wait to talk about them.
Well, let's get right into it. We will start with Friday night, October 30th, the eve of Halloween. Gervonta Davis, the Floyd Mayweather protege from Baltimore, Maryland, defeated Cristobal Cruz. We all know Cruz. He's a tough veteran. And Davis took care of him in 3-round TKO. I will say this. I watched the fight. I could see why Cruz was upset with the premature stoppage. What I will say is after the Pritchard Cologne thing, I think everyone is on there, walking on eggshells. So no one wanted to keep Cristobal Cruz around longer than necessary. But Gervonta looked pretty good. What did you guys think of Davis?
Yeah, I just saw the Facebook highlights, so to speak, from some of his family members, and yeah, the stoppage was early, but from what I saw heading into that last round, I think that he's developing well. I think he's the kind of fighter. I don't know. Everybody puts like stock when somebody gives you that cosign, but I think it hurts a fighter. In interviews, Davis, he just seems mature. He seems like he's handling it well. And I appreciate that in a fighter.
Yeah, I watched the highlights too. And again, the foundation is there, the fundamentals is there, the natural ability is there. I think the kid can fight. I never thought he couldn't. And obviously the expectations are going to be high. So he may not live up to the expectations because the people, when you have that push being thrust behind you, everyone wants you to be great right away. And I hope this isn't the case with this young guy. I hope they take their time with him and they let him develop. I really do.
Well, Miguel Cruz got a 1-round stoppage in the first round over Anthony Abruzzi. Not much to say there. Samuel Figueroa versus Gervonta Starks. This was an interesting fight. Starks was a pretty good boxer, good mover. But Samuel Figueroa, he was landing the heavier shots. I'm interested to see how you guys scored this one because Figueroa was able to defeat him by 8-round unanimous decision where, I don't know, I think maybe Starks could have, I can't see anyone, being upset with Starks getting the decision in this because he was doing some clear landing. Definitely landing, definitely pumping the jab every now and then. And I don't know. I just felt like this one could be maybe a controversial scorecard. Not scorecard, but scoring. What did you guys think?
I thought the fight was razor close. I actually scored it a draw. I thought that Starks had a great start, but I thought that he started to fade a little bit. And I think he's being pushed back. Seemed to be, being manhandled a little bit. And I just think that, I'm not going to say he let up. I'm just going to say that the gears changed on him and he wasn't prepared to deal with the shift in momentum, the shift in the pace of the fight. In other words, I think once he started getting hit, I think he started feeling the effect of those shots, and it kind of made him a little bit more apprehensive to throw his punches. So his aggression and activity kind of tapered off as the fight wore on. I'm not saying he was being dominated in the second half of the fight, but I think that he was losing the second half of the fight. I thought he put the rounds in the bank early, and I think that he kind of wore down as the fight wore on. But I had it a draw. I thought it was razor close. Could have went either way. But the scoring was wide, I thought. I agree.
I literally would have just gone and passed on. Beeb said everything perfect until that last moment. I don't think this was a story of a second half fight. I think that, for whatever reason, and we've seen this from Figueroa in the past. If you had never seen him fight, then maybe you weren't expecting the fact that he doesn't. I wouldn't say that he's relentless in a fight, not at all, but he doesn't relent in a fight. You know, he won't throw in the towels easily, and you know, there's been performances like this from him in the past. But I think that Beeb nailed it as far as Stark's inability to finish a performance, I guess, is the best way to say it. Put it all together and keep it all, because that's the biggest thing when you get down to these fighters at this stage in their career is at times it's hard for them to they come out, they get a rhythm, a momentum, but they can't carry it. And so I guess that's the biggest. But no, I honestly didn't think that it was that controversial. They were wide, but I didn't think that, you know, there was a huge discretion between a Figueroa win and a Starks win. So I was fine with it. Again, I think there's a big misconception in terms of robbery and bad scorecards and stuff like that.
I don't know. It's funny, man. I thought that Starks, I don't want to spend too much time on it. It was a small card, low-level fighters, but, you know, I just felt like Starks was killing this guy with the jab. I don't know what fight you guys were watching. It felt like every time he was trying to cut the ring off, he was getting jabbed and countered. I don't know how. Look, Figueroa landed big shots throughout the round whenever he could land, you know, but it felt like to me like Starks was the one in control. That being said, we were introduced to Sergey Lipinets when he defeated Lydell Rhodes, which I was right, and I second-guessed myself last week thinking that it wasn't the Mayweather fighter, and it was. But he didn't do good. Sergey, he looks good. I mean, it was a unanimous decision, and it was a hard style. Lydell Rhodes was to, you know, for Lipinets to, I'm gonna just stick with Sergey to be able to knock out, but he looks like he may have some power. I mean, again, you know, credit to Rhodes. He's got some great stamina. I mean, this guy was running the whole night. But I like what I seen from Sergey. He cut the ring off well. I just think that, again, Rhodes is a difficult style. He's a guy with a lot of stamina, you know, who just didn't gas out.
Well, the thing is when you take away the ring from someone who likes to move a lot, then they have to have a plan B, because most fighters who are that prototypical mover-type boxer, they have problems when you cut the ring off, when you beat them to the spot, when you don't give them that backdoor access to escape. And Rhodes kind of looked uncomfortable. He didn't like having to fight the type of fight that he was forced to fight. I mean, in a situation like that, you got to, like Sugar Ray Leonard said once, there's always comes a time in a fight where you have to stand your ground and you have to fight. And I don't think Rhodes was prepared for that. I don't think he was prepared for that, and I think he got caught off guard. And I don't think he was able to regroup and come up with a plan B to deal with that. And I was very impressed with the Russian. I was very impressed.
Yeah, Lipinets, I want to see him again. I do. I'm excited about what he's got to offer. I'd seen him coming in before this fight. This was a fight that I had actually offered up as a throwdown pick. It got some decent score. Wasn't what I thought it would, but it was a good score. You know, Haskell Rhodes at the end of the day is going to be. I'm sorry, did I say? I said Haskell Rhodes. Yeah. At the end of the day, is going to be a guy who, you know, I don't think he's going to get much better than he is. He's kind of capped out. But I think that when it comes to Lipinets and his future, I'm really excited to see what he does. I really am. I think this was just a taste of what he's capable of. I really don't think he showcased everything. I think that we're going to be highly impressed for years to come.
Yeah, man, I'm interested to see him again. So we get to Beeb's pick of the day when he told everyone that Malik Scott will defeat Tony Thompson, and he did by 10-round unanimous decision. Listen, Scott showed good boxing ability. He showed good stamina, good footwork, and a very disciplined jab. It was more about what Tony Thompson wasn't doing. He came in grotesquely overweight, really not doing much of anything. I was shocked that he even got the knockdown in the 9th round. But yeah, man, it's no knock on Scott, but I'm just not excited. Like, I'm not excited to see him in Wilder again, which is what they were trying to sell us, At least if Tony would have went in there and knocked out Scott the way he did Price, it would have been a little more interesting to me, I think. Even Wilder said he would rather fight Tony Thompson because he already fought Malik Scott. I think that, Scott deserves all the credit in the world for getting the win. We don't know how much is really left on Thompson. I mean, he said it on the telecast. They repeated anything, what he said about not for us not to mistake him with Bernard Hopkins. So he already had his foot out the door, This was a fight, obviously, for Scott to win. So credit again to the Beeb. I just thought that Thompson would take advantage of the fact that, but again, we got a different Scott. That wasn't a lackadaisical Scott like we were used to. This was an active Scott. This wasn't even the Scott from ESPN when he got that what was it, a draw I think he had on ESPN. But the point is, yeah, man, credit to Beeb. I'm gonna eat my crow officially because I got it wrong. I got it wrong. It is what it is. But a lot of us did. So.
Yeah, that's for me too. That's my crow also. As far as where
no. You get your own.
Okay, give my own crow. Give it to me. As far as where Malik Scott goes from here, man, it's just this middleweight division is such a weird division. By all accounts, in any other division, they should not earn a fighter like Malik Scott beating a fighter like Tony Thompson very much, and yet it kind of puts Malik Scott in the driver's seat for a few fights. I mean, I doubt they serve him up right away, but he's on his way. He is. He's gotten his shots before. He's come up short. There's nothing in that fight. There's nothing in a Tony Thompson win that would suggest he's ready to beat anyone that he's already lost to or anyone better than he's already lost to. So I don't want to come down on him because he did win the fight. And he pulled the upset. I didn't think he had any chance. It's for Malik Scott. He's always just been so boring. He's had like one, maybe two exciting fights in his whole career. He put 36 snoozers together, back to back. And so I don't know what his marketability is. I don't know where he goes from here. All I know is he's in the kind of division where they're seeking out fresh bodies, and he's as fresh as they get at this point.
Yeah, well, Matthew Luzzi actually wrote a great article on ThaBoxingVoice.com about where Malik Scott goes next, and I'm kind of in agreement with those names. See, I don't want to see Malik Scott get a Deontay Wilder fight. No, you don't deserve that, and the way that first one happened, this friendship that Wilder keeps talking about on air, it just doesn't make me feel comfortable at all. But Dominic Breazeale, yeah. Gerald Washington, yeah. Amir Mansour, I'll take that. Who else? Brian Jennings, why not? Those type of names, okay. But not necessarily a title shot. Even an Areola, I wouldn't mind. Why not?
Well, I just think that the whole situation with the Chisora fight, this was a very similar situation in the 9th round once again. He got up at about 8.5, 9, and he was allowed to continue, and he fought and he won the fight. It's very possible the same could happen in the Chisora fight. And I agree with you on the Deontay Wilder situation. I think that it looked very sketchy, the punch, but regardless, I mean, if you're going in there fighting someone who you're very close with, you're very friendly with, it could very well be in the back of your mind. You don't have that competitive fire to, inside you to compete with that guy the same way you would compete with somebody else. And it definitely showed that. I don't know. He's gotten up from hotter punches than the punch that Deontay Wilder landed. He got hit in the temple in this fight, and he got up. He got hit in the temple in the Chisora fight, and he got up, and he was ready to fight on. So I don't want to talk too much about the Deontay Wilder fight, but just to piggyback off what you said, I don't think mentally he's prepared to fight someone who he's very close with like that. I think that affects him. But I don't think that, he's a bad fighter. I didn't think he was ever a bad fighter. I thought that he had the potential to be a very good fighter. And there's a lot of guys in this division he can beat who I would pick him to beat. Him versus Povetkin, that would be an outstanding matchup. You know what I mean? Him versus Brazil, like you said, that would be another outstanding matchup. There's a lot of guys that he could fight. Brian Jennings, another great fight for him. And I think he'd have a chance to beat any one of those guys. I'm not saying it would be easy, but he has the ability and the skills to outbox anyone. Probably Klitschko may be a stretch, but he has ability, he has skills, and when he puts his mind to it, and he's focused to fight like he was for this fight, which I suspected he was going to be, then he can fight. He can definitely fight. I mean, you can just look at him, and you can say, hey, this guy can box. This guy knows how to fight. And I always saw that in him.
Yeah, well, I wish I had an award to give you because you deserve it. You picked a guy that a lot of people wrote off. And we move on from Orlando, Florida. We travel to Houston, Texas on Saturday, October 31st on Halloween. And the telecast made numerous mentions for us to know that it was Halloween and that it was a scary night. NBC Sports Net delivered a bunch of fights. First up, Caleb Plant defeating Tyrone Brunson by 8-round unanimous decision. And Plant, while still looking good, is starting to look less and less as advertised. What do you guys think?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough one. What do you think, Mario?
Well, listen, I mean, I don't understand what Plant was supposed to be advertised. He's always been a guy in my mind that has some upside for sure. But the decoration of his pedigree, it just doesn't really reach out and grab me. I mean, it's significant for him. It's significant for where he's come, and he's definitely getting a push. But see, that's the thing. I wouldn't confuse the commercial push to our expectations of real fight fans. Plant has always been kind of a mediocre talent in my opinion, even from where he's coming up. And I think that he's probably going to be the kind of guy that's going to have to learn on the spot. He's either going to need a really tough fight to get some of these growing pains out of the way, or he's going to need a learning a lesson in the ring. A fight that he can learn off where he takes that L and draws back. But I just don't expect much out of him, to be honest with you. And I'm not trying to be hard on some of these fighters. I feel like I'm being super negative today, but I like Plant. I do. He gives good interviews. He's a solid kid. But I just don't really expect much other than what we saw. He's in a division where he can get a bunch of fresh bodies, stack them up. But at the same time, there are some guys that he just can't. You're either gonna hop that hurdle or you're not, and I don't think Plant ever will.
Oh, man! You're talking about a kid that has 11 fights. Like
no.
But
you're talking. No. See, that's the thing is, I'm not talking in his career. I'm excited for what Plant's got, going for him. But you're saying it's like he keeps disappointing or he's not living up to expectations.
No, you call that?
That's what you said. No. Listen, I'm not saying his fighting style is exciting. Okay. I'm not saying his ability to be exciting.
You're misunderstanding me.
Okay.
I said you call what you just said excitement. That didn't sound like you were excited about Plant. It sounded like you were disappointed about Plant.
Well, because listen, I don't expect him to get on the top 10, pound for pound, and when guys aren't going to get.
But when have you expected anybody at 11-0 to get top 10 pound for pound?
Listen, Earl Spence is a guy that from the very start I thought, yeah, he's gonna grace some pound for pound ranks one day.
So he's top 10 pound for pound, huh, Mario?
No, I
why are we
said he's
talking
going
about
to
Earl Spence
grace it one day because I said early on I said he could grace it one day. Gary Russell's the guy that I thought could grace it one day. You know, you see guys and you say, man, these are talents. Rob Plant's not that guy to me.
So Caleb Plant, because it's not Rob Plant.
I mean, Caleb Plant. I don't know why I said Rob Plant.
So Caleb Plant pitching a shutout practically because the score is 79-73, 79-73, 78-74. So pitching a shutout doesn't impress you.
You're the
when we're coming from the Mayweather era where people don't gotta get knockouts. Oh, no, because all
said you weren't impressed that he continues to disappoint.
That's not what I said. Don't put words in my mouth. I said, is Caleb Plant starting not to be as advertised? I said while looking good.
The simple answer to that, no.
Hold on. I said while looking good. Is Caleb Plant starting to be not as advertised? Because he was supposed to be this knockout puncher. And I'm just saying Tyrone Brunson's a guy that's been knocked out by, some kind of mediocre.
Twice.
I haven't really been following this guy Plant, so that's why I apologize. I couldn't really answer your question.
Well, listen, I'll tell you the simple truth about it is that my whole thing is, listen, I'm trying to explain to you is that you're saying, oh, not as advertised, but to me, he was not advertised as a world beater
he was advertised as a
young
knockout
monster.
puncher.
But maybe you fell for it, but I didn't. And to me, he's living up to exactly what I think he's going to.
What do you mean fell for it and I didn't? Listen, no one knew this kid until PBC put him on air. So no one's seen him more than anyone.
Yeah, but
he's had 3 fights though already on. He's had 3 fights already on TV.
Exactly. And since the first one, he was a knockout puncher. He got the knockout. The next one he didn't. Now this one he doesn't. But he can definitely box. That's why I'm like, wow, you're not impressed. He can fucking box.
I'm not.
And he's white, being that slick. So you're not giving him any credit. Like he can box.
No. That's not. You're putting words in my mouth. No, that's what you're doing.
I'm not.
I'm telling you to lower the bar of expectations.
You said he would never grace the top 10.
I'm telling you to lower the bar of expectations.
First of all, you said he would never grace the top 10 pound for pound, and you also said that your expectations of Caleb Plant wasn't high. You knew what you were getting coming into it. I don't even know where you got that from.
But because it was all based off of you. It was you. I drew from you. You made it seem like he's a world beater, and he's not.
Don't worry about it. Miscommunication there. We're spending too much time on the undercard. We're moving on to my other boy who looked, for 8 rounds, he looked great. I had to go back and watch it because Mario told me, hey, Harrison was getting touched. I said, no way. He was outboxing the hell out of Cecil McCalla. But anyway, for all my first-time listeners or casual fans, we're discussing Tony Harrison, who got the decision win over Cecil McCalla by 10-round unanimous decision in junior middleweight fight. So it was a fight where Tony Harrison definitely was dominating the fight, pumping the jab. Oh, man, so beautifully. Just really piston-like. But I know what happened. He got tired. And once he got tired, it was easier for Cecil to catch up to him. Now, the thing is, this was a gimme fight for real. Cecil's coming off of like 2 consecutive losses. And not only that, he's got sparring partner mentality all day. He was just coming with the high guard, just walking Harrison down, thinking that somehow he was going to be able to land the punch when he barely was even countering. His father was employing him to throw punches until finally he landed a couple of right hands in the 8th round or the 9th round on Tony Harrison. And I just feel like, man, Harrison, I still love him. He's still a good boxer, but they need to start seeing what they're going to do in terms of a trainer or, getting a different look. Maybe, I don't know, some top-notch sparring. Maybe he's not getting the right sparring in Detroit. The Crunk was well-known, but it's not what it was anymore. Where are the young kids? Where are all these hotbed fighters coming out of the Crunk right now? No one. This kid's getting hit with overhand rights like I don't know, like they're giving him away for free because he was giving them away for free. And not only that, he's got his fucking hands down. Like, you're not a professional. Like, listen, don't make me invest my time and then you showboat and get punched in the face. Because if you're going to put your hands down, well, then you better not get punched in the face. But you're going to have your hands down and get punched in your face, so you showboat and then you get caught showboating. I mean, listen, it was disgusting. He's lucky he got the win. He's lucky he was in there with a sparring partner. That's the problem. And listen, no offense to McCulla, I'm sorry if that sounds bad, but the way that you were coming at Harrison with your high guard, and even when you were in freaking range, you wouldn't let your hands go. I mean, you got me thinking you're a sparring partner. You got me thinking that you're there to work Harrison on how to get out of the corner. When someone's blocking him in, because that's all that you were doing. Was put him in. He would put him against the ropes, but he wouldn't unload, Beeb. I mean, it was disgusting. Again, I'm glad Harrison got the win. This is the growing pains, sometimes the big lights, he was getting all those knockouts on club shows because he has beaten high-level opponents. Not high-level, excuse me, but, good journeyman opponents, but those were fights not under these new lights now. It was the Nelson fight was the big lights. But before that, it was ESPN where he had the fight with the little Mexican dude, Pablo Munguia. And now this one under the lights. And he impressed for 8 rounds, but what do we do? I mean, that last round, a bigger puncher, I don't know if he makes it out of it.
Well, there's good and bad, because this was the type of performance that he needed, and I'll tell you why. I mean, he was in control, just like he was in control for the Willie Nelson fight. And this time he faced some adversity in the last 2 rounds, and he overcome it, and he hung on to get the decision. So in that regard, that's a positive thing. But not one thing, but a couple things here that, kind of really hurt him as a fighter. He seems to have a hard time really gauging his distance. So he's getting hit with shots, and he's putting his hands down because he thinks he's out of the way, and he's out of harm's way from his opponent, and he's not, because he steps back, he relaxes, and he thinks he's not going to get touched, and that's when he gets touched. And he's very susceptible to those looping type shots. He's got to learn how to deal with those looping type shots. So he's got to make some defensive adjustments there. And he's got to know how to pace himself, and he's got to know how to stay focused the whole fight. Just because things start going easy for you, you can't become complacent in there, and that's what's happening. And he was complacent, and he had to pay for it in the last 2 rounds. But I do like the fact that he still hung on there, and kept his composure, and he was able to sustain the onslaught in the last 2 rounds. So that's a good thing. But I just still think that he needs to develop some better defensive skills, and maybe he needs to learn how to fend these guys off when they get in. To start cutting the range on him, because he's an excellent outside fighter. He's got a beautiful jab, got a beautiful straight right hand. But when the opponent starts switching things up on him, starts cutting the distance, was what Willie Nelson did very well when he was able to get past his jab. And it's not these long right hands he's getting hit with. He's getting hit with these mid-range looping shots, and that's because there's no plan B for when a guy gets past his jab. He's got to learn how to make himself a compact target. He's got to learn how to keep his hands up. You just don't think that I'm out of range, I'm going to drop my hands. He's got to put his hands up when his opponent's attacking him. Don't think he's going to be able to slip everything. Because if you're trying to slip a looping shot, those are the types of shots you need to parry away. Those looping shots, they're very hard to slip. Because if you try to slip a looping shot, you'll end up moving right into it. So he's just got to work on those couple things, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just feel like some of that doesn't matter. Like, listen, Beeb, that was excellent. That breakdown was excellent. To me, though, I think that with him and what he was able to do in that fight, and then to have those last 2 rounds and get caught, Cecil McCalla didn't change much up. He changed it up when he found an opening. Then he changed it up. He got more aggressive. I think he was setting his feet up to really lay into power shots. He wasn't just going in there without a plan. He was finding a way to get past the jab. Although, I mean, really, that's not even the case, because Harrison completely abandoned the game plan. Harrison 1 through 8 and 9 through 10 were 2 different fighters. Listen, you look at what he was able to do in the fight against Cecil McCalla, but then you look at what a fighter like Cecil McCalla was able to do in the last 2 rounds against Harrison, and there are just some holes there. I will never understand the fight game nearly enough to explain every single hole I see in a fighter. And when I do it, I try to do it as articulately as possible. With a guy like Harrison, you go back to that Willie Nelson fight, and I kind of said the same things. It's like you can't explain it, but you know it when you see it. And with Harrison, he allows himself to be open. He allows himself to be vulnerable for shots time to time, and he pays big for him. And B painted a picture for everyone, and I feel like that's so simple. Not simple in terms of understanding it, but simple in terms of a professional boxer going through those motions of exactly how Beeb explained for Harrison to act. Once that jab has been taken out of the loop. But he did a lot of good things in there. He boxed very well. I'm impressed with the performance. I just don't think that he needs to look good against better opposition. He looked good last night. He just needs to do what he did against better opposition and not get hit.
I have two things. I'm going to recommend that they attempt to do something with the stamina, maybe a strength and conditioning coach, because obviously when he's jabbing, he has no problem. When he can keep you at the end of that stick, he has no problem. It's when that jab can't keep him away is when he has issues, is like Beeb said. But he should be able to know how to tie up, have the strength to do that, not be putting his hands down. And also I think he's wasting unnecessary punches, because every time he threw a combination, McCulla would block every punch, yet he would still throw maybe 3, even 4 punches, knowing that they're being blocked. It's like you're wasting. Like I can understand if he was trying to loop it around the guard, but he wasn't. It was just like boom, 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 boom to look good. And it's like, bro, you wasting energy. Sure enough, at the end of the fight, I mean, he's got his hands down. He's on the ropes. He's signaling in McCulla to come in because he's on the rope. I mean, it was just disappointing. But again, I think it goes back to the crunk not being what it was. He's probably not getting the sparring that he needs. He's probably not being pushed. Listen, this is a really dangerous division. There's some sharks in that water. In a beautiful world, Canelo is still in that division. Kirkland is in that division. You got both the Charlos in that division. There's just so many fighters. Laura, Vanez, all those guys. Nelson. Everybody deserves a fight right now in that division. Either they're coming off of a loss or just gave someone a loss. So I think that's a hot division, and these guys need to tighten up. Harrison, listen, unlike Jermell Charlo, who was in there to look good, both of these guys were in there to look good. Joachim, which is how we learned last night that his name is pronounced Joachim, even though it's spelled Joa. But Alcine was old, and Jermell Charlo handled him as such. He gave a lot of credit to Derek James, who was also the trainer of Earl Spence, who is now training Jermell Charlo, for changing his style or adding to his style what Ronnie Shields had already implemented, adding a little bit of going for the kill, Beeb, and trying to be more like Jermall Charlo, the IBF middleweight champion. Like I'm saying, this division starting to be a hot one.
I agree, and I did like what I saw from Jermell last night. He had that take charge type of attitude. He's always going to be, his roots are always going to be, the boxer. He's always going to be a boxer at heart. But he realizes that in order to showcase himself, to put himself in a position to get big fights, he's going to have to look good. And he definitely did look good, because Alcine's he can be a durable guy. He's been stopped before. But Alcine's the type of guy that he can make you look bad if you're not on top of your game. And I think Charlo realized that, and he made sure that he was on top of his game, and he really just took it to him. He just went right at him. He didn't play around at all in this fight. And I was very impressed with his approach to this fight. Did what he had to do.
I think that Jermell, for me, is always going to be a guy that represents ruthless ambition. He's got ambition in the fight, in the ring, and the way that he allows himself to conduct his career, we've seen him progress. And I don't want to make this about Golden Boy or PBC or anything, but I'm just going to say, as of late, I don't know, there's just this lack of fire from his in-ring performances. I don't know if that's training. You know, obviously he switched his trainer, and last night was the first time we saw him with Derek James, Earl Spence's trainer. You know, I don't know if it's conditioning. I don't know if it's a lack of being able to make the weight. I don't know what it is. Last night he looked great. He looked like that guy that I've always remembered him to be. You know, I've always said Jermell is better than Jermall. This year, the first time I said, you know what, Jermall's better than Jermell. And I don't know. I always thought Jermell was the better fighter of the twins. I always enjoyed him more. I'll just put it that way. I've always enjoyed his fights and his performances more, whether they were, you know, talents or whatever. That said, he was in the ring with an old man. He was in the ring with a guy that could barely fight. There seemed to be no heart, and I don't want to call it heart, but just no determination, no grit. I mean, Alcine looked like he was in there to lose, and he was just trying to leave without allowing his body to fully break down. You know, I just don't want to be so hard. I feel like a hater today, but it is what it is. Like, don't come in here and try to sell me on Jermell Charlo, this beast, because he is, but don't try to sell it to me based off of last night's performance. I think that anyone in the junior middleweight division does that to Alcine last night and looks as good as Jermell does.
Anyone not named David Lemieux?
Ooh, you're see as much. And that's the thing I love about Ness.
Didn't Lemieux lose to him?
I can sound like a hater, but I always count on Ness to up the hating game.
Yo, did Lemieux lose to him? Listen,
I can't remember that far back.
I'll let that marinate. Mario, let me cut you off real quick and bring on a special guest. We got Michael Woods real quick. Michael, what's going on, brother?
Hey, boys, how you doing?
Good. Happy to have you.
Hey, good to be on always. Listen, I caught just the right time. Ness talking shit about Lemieux. Hey, my man, that fight was in 2011. That was eons ago. You know, my man, I was much healthier, and I was in fighting trim, and well, I wasn't really, but I mean, 2011 is eons ago. That's ages ago. The guy's 39. That was 4 years ago. He was a better fighter then. He flipped since then. So kind of apples and oranges. But I agree with your man who says, you know, don't be overselling, don't be overhyping. Charlo be the 39-year-old guy, and we have respect for everyone who steps in the ring and gives a good performance of themselves and tries hard, because guess what? These are just all guys trying to make money, trying to earn a living, right? So we don't shit on anyone, but it is what it is. And then wait a second, did I? It was late, right? And I don't drink or use drugs or anything. Maybe I ate too much candy last night, but did he call out Floyd Mayweather afterwards? Did he mention Mayweather?
Yeah. That was old because
right?
it was already on ESPN a couple days ago.
He called him out. He called him out.
I mean, listen, hold on. Maybe he's knowing something that, like, even more deeply than any of us know, because, you know, you guys know the Pacquiao video came out during the week, the Facebook video saying, I am negotiating with Team Mayweather. And then I called Bob Arum, and Arum actually called me back, and that doesn't always happen, because you guys know. Hey, listen, we all know shit. I'm not big platform Dan. I'm not big platform Ioli, right? So I don't always get to talk to Bob. But I actually got a call back from Bob. And you know that unmistakable voice. I'm like, hey, what's up? What's up? I hear about this. Manny is negotiating with Team Mayweather. And he says, I don't know. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I said, there's a video. I'll read you exactly what he said. And he says, I know nothing about it. Michael Collins knows nothing about it. It must be a language. There must be a screw up in his language. It couldn't be anything but that. So, in other words, maybe Charlo knows something that even Bob Arum doesn't know. So maybe, who knows? Maybe he's gonna fight Floyd Mayweather next year.
Maybe. I mean, I doubt he's gonna take on a young. You think he'll take on a young, hungry Charlo?
Yeah, no. I absolutely know, and you and I both know. Listen, the people that you pick to fight Floyd Mayweather are names. Right? You have to have fought for at least 10 years. You have to have name recognition in the sport, and preferably you're a little bit on the downside, actually, too, or heavily on the downside, too. So, no, in no way, shape, or form. Or maybe a guy like Danny Garcia, right? Because they perceive that maybe he actually has some Hispanic fan base pull, and, you know, I think he's very beatable, as most people tend to think these days. I think he maybe has stagnated over the last 2 years. So maybe a guy like him. I'm trying to think who else. But, listen, we boil everything down when we're talking about boxing. Not everything, but if we got a question about something, follow the money, right? It's the boxing business. And what's the best business move? The best business move is always the one that makes the most money. What's going to make the most money? Rematch with Pacquiao. Half as much or 45% as much as the first one, because believe you me, you guys are out there every day. You guys are hardcore, degenerate boxing addicts. You talk to people, Joe Q public fans every day like I do, and there are still people pissed off that will never buy another pay-per-view. These were first-time buyers, and they hadn't bought one in 5, maybe 10 years, and they'll never do it again. So there's going to be a pretty severe blowback, I think, if they try to do it again. It might not be as an easy a sell as they think it is. But yeah, that's the one I think happens. Why not? I mean, how many businesses do you guys, any of us, know that anyone's going to turn down some sort of business deal that's going to net them $200 million? Just rarely happens.
I mean, I think that the smartest move is the Pacquiao fight. I mean, I think even if you cut it in half of what it made the last time, it still makes profit.
Yeah. Don't you think they?
Let me ask you this. Maybe I missed some news today or something, or you guys got always got that good ear on the ground there. You guys hearing anything? What's going to be happening at HBO for replacing Hirschman? Because I haven't really heard anything. I'll get cooking on it again tomorrow. But you guys hearing anything?
No, I just seen that story. I haven't even gotten to read it entirely, but I can't believe he's stepping down.
Yeah, no, I mean, I asked around a little bit, this one and that one. People didn't know about it happening. A couple people got a little bit early word, but but listen, he's not one of these. He's not an out there guy. He doesn't have that Steven Espinoza style active Twitter account, shall we say? He doesn't really talk to us all that much.
Hey, let me ask you something though.
Three times a year or something, there'd be something at HBO and the media could sit down and talk to him, but he wasn't into that, man.
Let me ask you something. You think that this is just me being a conspiracy theorist, because he was the one to say no more business with Al Heyman, and then boom, this happens, and guess what? Every other network is getting some of PBC except HBO because of Hirschman.
Right.
Do you think they said, hey, man, we got to get rid of this guy? Made him resign?
I don't think so. I don't know. Listen, something like this, all of us got to say to ourselves, well, why? Why are you leaving? Why are you really leaving? Why are you leaving a job that pays real good and it's interesting or whatever? Well, you've been there 4 years, and, I did ask around a little bit, and someone did say, listen, it's a tiring job. You're getting these phone calls at midnight from, whoever, boxing promoter or whatever, is a single guy, no family that doesn't give a shit. And so it's a burnout, and it's been 4 years, and, he's swirled away money, and he probably could honestly retire now if he wants to and have a much easier job. And so maybe really just simply it is that. Maybe he just got a little bit burned out, and he does actually want to see his wife and see his kids. He got kids, I think, that are teenagers or early college age, so maybe he wants to see them more. So maybe that's actually it. The thing with Heyman, listen, I know he's not jumping ship to Heyman like now because he's got a contract up the end of the year, but he's not jumping ship to Heyman because I heard some people saying that. There's certainly no love lost there. But as far as opening the door for HBO to be doing business with Heyman, I just think there's too much sort of water under the bridge there. I just think, listen, politics and boxing make strange bedfellows. And the guy that was my enemy yesterday, if the opportunity presents itself to make money with him today, hello, Aram and Heyman, we'll be able to hold our noses long enough to do business. But I just don't think so. I think all this stuff with the HBO stable has been set up, and I think to switch midstream and invite Heyman into the mix, it does not make sense. I don't think it's logistically. I don't say it's not logistically possible, but what are, as the conspiracy theorist, what are you pointing to that makes you think that could possibly happen? I don't just think it out of hand, but what makes you think maybe that could happen?
Well, I just thought that Hirschman was the roadblock, and also, I mean, now with the rumor of this Fox deal, now everything is starting to make a little sense. Now we know why Porter Thurman isn't happening, because they want to put it on this 2-fight deal with Fox. But again, I just look at it that HBO is like, oh well, everyone is getting some of this except us. That's essentially what's happening.
No, that's a natural way to think. Yeah, right. Like, hello, ESPN got to cut a $12 million check. We would like a $12 million check. But the thing is, HBO doesn't operate like almost any other entity. They do kind of like Showtime, right? But the ratings aren't the same thing, and it's a little bit more of an opaque situation. You guys know with the boxing, they have their ratings and stuff, but they don't respond to it like the networks do. And you'll say, because you can never actually get them to say, well, boxing is X amount of our total business at this cable platform. Maybe they know, maybe they do the research that shows actually how many subscribers, but it's about subscribers. That's what it's about. It's about you, that person plunking down that $12.99 every month. And how many of those people are doing it for boxing? My gosh. How many of those people are doing it for boxing? I don't know, but enough still for them to put out whatever the budget is. I should know this off the top of my head, but they're pretty good at actually not telling you what it is. So, I mean, what is the budget? Average of $3 million a show. How many shows? I don't know. What the 30 some million dollars or something? I don't know. Someone could call in and maybe tell me that sounds right or wrong, but so they're not quite like ESPN. They can't be compared to ESPN. ESPN, yeah, absolutely. $12 million isn't jump change, especially with you see them laying people off and shit. So I think the ESPN made the right decision at the time, or did they? All this shit we're really not going to know until for like another year or two, because I think you guys, some of you over there agree with me. You think that 2016 is going to be a better PBC year, and we're going to get more B plus side versus B plus side, or A side versus A side fights. I think I think we went into a record. It started out with a whole year of record building and getting to know these fighters. And while the fight fan in us would have preferred more right out of the gate hardcore matches, pick-em matches, that's not what they decided to do. And do I necessarily agree with it? No.
Yeah, but Mike, you see,
no, but we understand that.
Yeah, but the misconception is that they're doing something different.
A bag of money to do it. We have to understand and respect that he's very smart. So I'm not going to sit there on the sidelines and Mr. Smart-ass boxer and be like, "Oh, fucking hell, Heyman is stupid." I'm just not going to do that.
Well, Mike, I'm going to let you go, man. We're going to get to some callers, man. But Thank you for calling in. We do appreciate it. Anytime, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. Be well.
All right. Beeb, the problem is the misconception that they're doing anything different than any other promoter. Every promoter is building fighters. I mean, True TV has guys that they are building. Ring TV has guys that they are building. This is just the natural way of the sport. Like he was saying, next year's going to be a better year. It's going to be slightly better. We will see guys like Caleb Plant, who we've only seen on TV 3 times. We will have seen him 6 times. We will have grown with him, and then it's going to be interesting to see him when he finally faces a 160-pounder like Macklin. It's like, oh, wow, Caleb is ready for a Macklin type of fighter. We have already been invested, and that's what PBC is. People don't see that yet, but they will. That being said,
can I just say one thing real quick? I have to be honest. I really haven't been disappointed with PBC as a whole. And I have to go back to what you said. Every matchup is not going to be a stellar matchup, just like in any other promotion. When we saw HBO, when we saw Kovalev fight Caparello, whatever his name is, with all due respect, I don't know how to pronounce his name properly.
Caparello.
Okay, I did pronounce it right. Was that a marquee matchup? This Andre Ward fight we're going to see, is that a marquee matchup?
What about Nathan Cleverly?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So the thing is nobody is going to give you
Nathan Cleverly was a champion, though, so we got to give him credit. I mean,
yeah. But what I'm getting at is just to I hate to be or just repeat what you're saying, but I have to support you on what you're saying because it makes sense. It's very factual. Look at the history. Bob Arum does not always give us great fights. I mean, but you know what it is you you can't always make a great matchup. It's just not possible all the time. And if you look at the whole product as an entirety, there's been a lot of good fights. There's been a lot of entertaining fights. And even the fighters who you didn't expect to perform the way they did, they overachieved. So I have to be honest with you, in terms of entertainment value, in terms of just enjoying these fights, I have to say on the whole, I've really enjoyed it so far. I have. I'm not lying. I'm really not lying.
Well, Beeb, I believe you. But like I'm saying, just to prove my point, Gilberto Ramirez just fought Maximo Volosov, right? And that was on the Brandon Rios Mike Alvarado fight in Colorado, right? Then he fought Derek Edwards, and now he's scheduled to fight some dude that I can't even pronounce. It's like Gegorov Klitschkanchking, something like that, or Kachkenchking, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just the notion that Al Heyman created all of this. I mean, it makes no sense to me, because all these things have happened. We've always complained about mismatches in the sport.
Yeah, but let's bring it in, because they already say that we go too much that route. Let's bring it in. Let's get some callers.
You're right.
Open up these phone lines, because we've already given you all the results. I do want to make it official. I don't think we've ever made it official that Jermell Charlo defeated Joachim Alcine by 6-round TKO in the junior middleweight division, just in case we didn't say that. And obviously what Michael Woods was talking about was the big headline that Ken Hirschman, the president of HBO Sports since 2012, who was first at Showtime and is the man behind the Super 6 middleweight tournament, decided to resign, which caught everyone by surprise on Friday. And although he will remain in his position throughout the end of the year, and I quote, "I am practically proud of what I accomplished, and I believe now is the perfect time to hand over the reins to someone new," Hirschman said in a statement released by the network. So Hirschman resigns, and it comes, I guess 4 years after the day he was hired, and announced that he was going to be working with HBO, and that was October 2011, a few months after Ross Greenberg had been with the network for almost 33 years and led the division for 10 years as president and was forced to resign. So now Hirschman also resigned. So, Beeb, I mean, I only knew Hirschman because he was at Showtime. So I was never truly invested in these positions. Like, I knew Hirschman because he got so much credit for the Super 6, and the only reason I know Espinoza is because Espinoza was a lawyer that worked for Golden Boy. So when Golden Boy and Showtime and Espinoza got those positions in that alliance, obviously my attention shifted to them, and I made myself aware of Espinoza and that title of executive whatever he is over at Showtime. And naturally, because the one that worked for Showtime moved to HBO, I was aware of that. I mean, I know that Ross Greenberg was before him because obviously he took a lot of heat for all the Heyman mismatches, the Berto, the Kerry Davis era. That being said, but before those couple of names that I just mentioned, I didn't care who these people were. Should we care who's going to take this new job? And should we care that this man who invented the Super 6 and had that sort of mentality, and you see what he did where he pushed Heyman out and he decided he's not going to buy fighters, he's going to buy fights, but then that changed because he obviously bought Gennady and Kovalev and a few others. But that being said, should we care? Where are your feelings with this?
Well, I got to ask you a question. I mean, how much authority does that position really have? Are they the ones saying that we're not going to deal with Heyman, or is the network itself? Is the network itself people above them saying that we don't?
Well, I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it's coming from the top. Who knows? But again, if you're the head of the sports division, I mean,
you have an influence on that. Then is what you're saying.
I mean, I think that maybe you should.
Yeah. Well, I want to give my opinion on the whole thing, and I want to just give a shout out to Michael Woods because he said he's not as big as Dan Raphael, but he's getting up there, and I do respect him. I have to be honest with you. He's one of the most unbiased writers, if not, pretty much at the top of being unbiased. in all boxing writers that I've seen in a long time. I really enjoy his writings, and I think he calls it right down the middle. But on to this Ken Hirschman thing. It seems very odd to me that someone would walk away from a job like that, number one. And number two, it's only been 4 years. People that have had that position in the past, they've usually had it for a long time.
Greenberg had it for 33.
That's what I'm saying. And because it's such a great job, it's not something that you just walk away from. So they had to have been unhappy with something.
Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry, B, to cut you off. I apologize, but it's truly warranted. Greenberg worked with the network for 33. Greenberg worked with the network for 33 years, held the president's position for 10 years, which is the same position that Ken Hirschman currently resigned from.
I understand. Thank you for that. But 4 years is a short time. It's a real short time, and you have to question again. I'm a conspiracy theorist just as you are in this situation, because it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't look right. Pete, that's not a job that like you would just walk away from. And I mean, it's just not a job you would quit unless something's happening in his personal life. Maybe he just. I mean, I don't know. But I'm kind of curious to really know behind the scenes what's going on in the whole situation. I'd like to be a fly on the wall for be in that room where he actually did resign. How that conversation went. Was it a resignation in lieu of termination? I don't know. But I suspect something's up.
Yeah, well, Michael Woods, he kind of insinuated that the phone calls at all hours of the night, but very few people have Hirschman's number. Please, let's get to some of these callers out here.
Introducing the hard-hitting ringside Robbie.
Okay, good evening, guys. Before I get into anything, please give me my crow. Thank you very much. Beeb, I have not went over to the dark side. I'm just having a very bad year picking fights.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Yo, I don't know what Ness did to you. I don't know what Ness did to you. When are you going to come over to the Beeb Force? I got James. James is my Padawan.
I was with you when you took Cotto because everybody else jumped on Martinez's bandwagon, and
you were.
So
okay.
So there we go.
I take it back.
Now, let me get into this HBO business. I believe something is up. I believe they want a piece of the PBC, and I believe that Ken Hirschman was forced out. That's just my guess, because otherwise you don't give up a job that you've only had for 4 years. Normally, when the person runs HBO boxing, they stick around a while. I think they want a piece of the PBC and they want to get involved in some of these big fights. That's my opinion. Charlo looked good. Harrison's got work to do, and we need to see more from Caleb Plant, because unfortunately he's not as advertised. He's not this big superior knockout puncher that they tried to pass him off as being. So those are my opinions on the fight.
All right. 727. You're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Hey, fellas, this is Randall, man, from Tampa. How y'all doing?
Randall, what up?
Man, nothing much. Hey, I need to get my crow. Going to get that crow for the Thompson fight.
Extended version.
Okay, since B want to talk about. Hello. Hey, since B want to talk about old fights, you can give me crow for Jones versus Palmer too. But I'm just fucking with you though. Hey, but hey, that was a good call Beeve had on that Malik Scott, because I ain't think he had it in him. I thought he was gonna get dropped early, but that was a good call on that fight. Just want to touch on that HBO situation, man. It do seem weird, because the way he got his job was because he stole that Manny Pacquiao Mosley fight to Showtime, and HBO got pissed at the current people they had in place. So it just kind of seemed like, it's kind of HBO pissed at him now because he let so many good fighters or good fights get away from their network. They got shit like Gabe Rosado versus the African kid. Come on, man. That's going to be on HBO. That's a bullshit. So it just go to show you, man, that he gambled. He gambled when he got rid of Heyman fighters and he lost. But that's just really what I want to touch on.
All right, Randall. Randall makes a point, Beeb, and that's what I said at the very beginning of this, that the fans will be the ones to bask in the glory of all these Cold Wars and situations, because a guy like Gabe Rosado, look, I'm invested. I know him for 4 years now. Like, win or lose, I don't mind. Like, I'm interested in watching him fight against Joshua Clottey, where Randall is not. He's saying this is not HBO worthy. I'm just a nice guy. It's like, yo, I know this dude. I'm gonna watch him.
That fight's very intriguing because of Clottey's age, because of the layoffs that he's had over the course of his career recently. But not only that, I'm gonna throw something else out there and tell me if I'm way out of line here. Whose decision was it to put the Golovkin Lemieux on pay-per-view? Did Hirschman have any say in that? Was that part of his brain trust, or how did that whole thing go down? Because
I don't know, because when they talk of Golovkin, there's always a lot of talk of Peter Nelson. There's a lot of Peter Nelson talking. He's at a lot of these events.
Yeah.
Peter Nelson had, who knows, man? Maybe that's the thing.
Were they mad at him for that? Were they mad at him for that?
Maybe they're promoting Peter Nelson. Who knows? I don't know. Let's get to some more callers. Austin from Jersey, talk to me.
Well, good, Ness. How y'all doing? Charlo, he looked good as always. He won't even beat a 40-year-old Mayweather. So, I mean, like, Mayweather's retired. Honestly, I don't want him to come back. Like, I'm tired of people matching him up with Mayweather. I mean, none of them can beat Mayweather anyway. But this is coming from a Mayweather fan. But another issue, about Andre Ward. Like, you guys have any news on, like, who he's fighting? Since, the Nevada Athletic State Commission had, like, rejected that fight. Do you guys
Alexander Grand.
Brand, isn't it Brand?
Okay. And another
Brand.
thing, you know how Andre Ward like dominated the Super Six and all that stuff like that. You guys still don't believe that Andre Ward still has that skill set to win. Like beat everyone at light heavyweight. Like, 'cause I truly believe that he can.
I agree with you, my friend. I agree with you, but the problem is he's been out of the ring for so long and so inactive that people have forgotten.
I know.
They forget.
And he fought on BET against them.
No, it's just that they forget, man. This is boxing, and it's more of a what have you done for me lately sport.
Yeah. Because like I'm still like I look at Sergey Kovalev and I still believe that he hasn't fought anybody. I mean, Bernard Hopkins, he was like 50 years old. Muhammadi, I don't know who that was, but still, like I really believe that Andre Ward can beat him. And I just don't know what it is that Do you really think Ward's gonna fight him next year? Because I think he will outbox him. Like I think Ward's smart.
Well, the deal is signed, man.
Kovalev,
so
but Kovalev can box too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Well, that's gonna happen because he took the deal. So it is what it is. Austin, third fight. All you got to do now is deal with two, bum fights.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, man.
All right.
And I
Thank
hope
you.
You guys continue the great show.
Thank you for calling in, brother. And if you haven't, drop us a 5-star review, man. Come on.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
New York City, 585. New York City, talk to me. Who's this? New York City, going once. New York City, going twice. 585. Louisiana, 225. Talk to me.
Hey, man, I'm glad you hear me, Ness. What's up, fellas? I got a lot of heat for y'all, and I want to see if y'all can come with me and stay with me. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, Ken Hirschman, I think he was out of there because that failed pay-per-view numbers, and plus not dealing with Al Heyman. You got to look at it like this. Al Heyman have a lot of young talent, and America is watching it. They say the next 3 to 4 years, America getting used to watching the young talent, and HBO is not going to have no part of that. I don't think HBO can afford that. You could go Triple G, Kovalev, Ward, Crawford. They ain't going to be able to fight nobody that America going to be able to accept in the next 3 or 4 years. And that's a big part of the pie. Showtime will be sucking up all this talent that's been exposed on national TV, and then they're going to be sitting back with sucking in the benefits. That's one thing. And another thing is this me, I'm the first person you ever told that black dudes hating on GGG. Nobody start hating on GGG, especially like black. I just want to let me get this out. Kovalev took this deal that war with Rock Nation. They took the deal, 50-50 deal, and one fight, and then we'll fight, or 2 fights, whatever, then we'll fight. GGG had a certain proposal for that fight. He didn't do that fight because, okay, he don't want to go up to 168 and all that. But yet, he wanted to take Froch, not just Froch, not just Chavez. He even offered Shubinov and Rodriguez a fight at 168. And neither one of them can bring in no kind of, bring in the numbers that War bring in, even if War don't bring in big, huge numbers. And that's why a lot of people was upset because they was pumping, shoving this dude down our throat, and he haven't really been tested. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way I was taking it at the time when I told you that. I'm like, all right, come on, HBO showing it, let me see the dude tested. That's why I got offended when him and Ward didn't fight, because when David Sanchez said he was gonna knock Ward out in the 10th round, and nobody could stand up to the dude. I'm like, oh man, what's really going on? And then when that happened, it didn't work. And then the next thing happened with the night with the catchweight with Canelo. And before I go out here, I got 2 more things. First thing I want to ask you: have you ever heard of a champion getting script for not fighting this mandatory at the weight of 160? I know Canelo saying I'll fight anybody at 155, and so is Cotto, and they're the champions. So you think the WBC can script them, because they're saying we'll fight, but we're fighting at 155, not at 160. That's a number, because neither one of them ever fought at 160. So it's the weight that Cotto and Canelo is comfortable at. It's 155. We comfortable at this weight, and this is middleweight, 155 to 160. So how could the WBC force them to fight them at 160? I don't know the answer to that. I'm trying to see if y'all do. And my last thing, I always thought Malik Scott was going to beat Malik Scott was just intimidated like a rabbit when he fought Wilder, but the dude had plenty of skills. All right, ready to listen to what y'all do. That's it. Later.
Hey, Louisiana, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Dirty South. Jermaine, Black, whatever.
Jermaine, Black,
Jermaine.
Dirty South. Which one you want, man?
Jermaine, that's good.
All right, Jermaine. Thank you for calling in, brother.
No problem.
Boxing MD, holla at me.
What's going on, guys? I want to talk because I was at the PBC in Orlando, Florida event, so I'll talk about that really quickly, and then I do have to make one point after. So originally I said that the fight was at the venue at the UCF basketball arena. The venue actually is like, I don't know if you guys could put this in perspective, but it was like where intramural sports are played within the basketball arena, that size venue. So I would say there was maybe 600 people there. So I guess the undercard, we saw a few interesting things. Miguel Cruz, who I got to speak to, and I spoke to his father. And in fact, he was good friends with Pritchard Colon and sparred with him when he was younger. So that was he was a little emotional about that when I spoke to him. And it's interesting too, because if he ends up being good, Miguel Cruz, Ness, were you impressed with Miguel Cruz, or he fought a bum?
I mean, it was only a 1-round fight, but
Yeah.
So it's all I could,
But it'd be interesting to see if he's good, because for the record, his father's a physician, so he's not from. We always say that you have to come from the streets to be good at boxing. Not you necessarily, but people say that. So it'll be interesting to see that if he's good, because he might break the mold. Because I mean, he looked good facing a lower level opposition. So
Boxing MD, are you rooting for this guy secretly because you both are gonna be doctors and shit?
No, he's not gonna be a doctor. No, I mean,
because his daddy's a doctor.
No, I mean,
because you guys are in the same sorority. What is it?
Whatever. Anyways, no, I'm rooting for him because he seemed like he was a nice kid, and he talked to me and he was cordial. So I have a positive opinion
Nah,
of him.
man, I'm just messing with you, man. You gotta understand. I'm
Okay.
just messing with you.
No, I feel you. So, but anyway, so I could skip the rest of the undercard because it's irrelevant. But the Figueroa Starks fight, which is the first fight that you guys saw on TV, right?
No, we saw the Davis fight on TV. I did.
That was after, so they broadcast that first.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay,
swing bout.
What?
It was a swing bout, right?
Yeah, it was a swing bout. But I'll go to that. I'll talk about Floyd and that in a second. But so Figueroa, Starks, they both were on the undercard of the last PBC fight, and it was a really interesting fight because there are two guys from the Orlando area. Starks, obviously, he had his crew there. Everybody's wearing a Starks shirt. And then Figueroa was there with his whole team, like his whole family, his crew. They're all there with the shirt. And they were separated by, like, I guess 2 or 3 sections. So you have, like, put this into perspective, you have, like, 20 or 30 Starks people yelling at the other.
Hey, what you scared to say it? 20 or 30 blacks versus 20 or 30 Puerto Ricans. We get it. We get it.
Yo, you know I'm not afraid to say that. So that's what happened. And it was entertaining, but it was cordial, but the whole thing was good. And honestly, I don't know how you guys scored it, but I had it a draw. So I thought early on.
It's funny. Beeb had it a draw, and I could have seen it either way. Like, I kind of seen it for Starks, man. Like, the thing is,
Came on too late. That's my opinion. He came on a little too late.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man, because he started for me in that second round. He kind of pitched the shutout just in the second alone. Like Figueroa, it took Figueroa a couple of rounds to figure out how to even get in on this guy. But whatever, man. No need to keep. I mean, that's too much time on these guys.
Yeah, no, but anyways, so the Lipinets fight. This is the one that I know if people probably looked at me like I was a fucking retard, but I swear to God that I fucking scored it for Rhodes. I swear to God, I had it 95-94 Rhodes. And
based off what? He was barely landing punches. All he was doing was
Rhodes. It wasn't until about the 7th round that Rhodes landed anything. He didn't land shit the entire. I didn't see. I didn't rewatch it.
So
on
then,
TV.
how could you give it? How could you give it to him then?
Because you have a guy landing weak shots and moving, like controlling the ring, where one guy's plotting forward, landing absolutely nothing. So I had to score some of those rounds for Rhodes. I had to. Lipinets didn't really get his timing down until about round 7 or 8, and then the last few rounds he took over. Those were by far the most significant rounds of the fight. And I think often a lot of us see, the later half of the fight than the beginning half of the fight, where it's not like Rhodes was destroying Lipinets. He just won those rounds, in my opinion, very closely. So I don't know, like, maybe if I rewatched the fight on TV, I would see it a little differently. But honestly, like, Lipinets he's a limited plotter. He's Ruslan Provodnikov. That's my opinion. I don't. You guys.
Maybe, but it's a little soon. I mean, it's very early in his career to be making such.
Yeah, it's early in his career, but that's what I saw as of right now. That's my opinion. But anyways, Malik Scott, Tony Thompson fight. Big props to you. To be honest, I didn't make an official pick, but I would have picked Tony Thompson, so you could give me a crow. I'll take it.
You picked him?
I didn't make an official pick, but in my mind, I picked Tony Thompson. So. Yeah, I mean, Beeb's, I guess, preview was excellent because Thompson looked lethargic. It was funny, like, he made that face where, like, they stood up, they faced each other, and, like, he made the face like I'm here to fight, but, like, I'm just, it was a weird face that he made when he looked at Malik Scott. But when he was smothering Scott against the ropes, none of his punches were landing until, like, the 9th round. It was a bad fight to watch. And in fact, a lot of people left during the main event, and a lot of people left when Floyd left. When this is interesting because I could bring up Gervonta Davis. It's funny because I forgot what fight was going on, but the second Floyd Mayweather, it was heard that Floyd Mayweather walked in. 90% of the media left the media table to walk over to try to get Floyd, take a picture with him, get an interview with him, or whatever. But I knew deep inside that none of them were going to get shit, and in fact, none of them got shit. But so then Floyd walks in. The entire everybody in the arena focuses on him. I guess after the fight, he was in the ring and he left, and a lot of people left with Floyd Mayweather. And I just think it's really funny that people care more about looking at a guy behind his bodyguards than actual boxing. I guess he's a deity to boxing fans. It is what it is.
Well, he probably was there with a lot of those people too. You know, he travels with a huge entourage.
I didn't see anybody else besides some random bodyguards that I've seen before. I guess they want to get a picture with a bodyguard. I don't know what the deal was. But what last few things about the event. I posted on my Twitter account that there's a PBC shirt on sale for $25. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's crazy. They were giving those things out for free a few months ago.
Yeah, $25. And it wasn't even like a PBC shirt where you see like Malik Scott and Tony Thompson's picture on the
It was
cards.
just the brand.
Yeah, you're buying the free Boxing for All brand for $25, whatever. So, so Wilder was in the locker room with Malik Scott before the fight. They were like talking for at least 20, 30 minutes, and security was really lax because they let us walk into Malik Scott's locker room, no issue. The only person that had an issue with talking to was obviously Floyd Mayweather, which nobody was able to talk to. But that's a given. We all understood this. I guess overall the event was okay. Driving up to the event, there was not one signage outside the actual venue that there was the actual fight. I had to ask students around UCF, do you guys know where the venue is? You know where the fight is? Not one person knew about this fight. It's a lower level fight, so I understand that the venue or the advertisement they did for it locally, but it is what it is. But one last thing I gotta say before I let you guys get on to another caller. I listened to the show on Thursday, and a lot of callers, man, they sounded like Andre Ward apologists. And to me, it's extremely if you call into this show, if you listen to this show, you fucking know boxing, or at least you try to know boxing. Why are people, comparing David Lemieux to Elton Brand or whatever? Who the fuck is this guy's name? Brand?
Elton Brand.
That's the only brand I know. I know Brand cereal. I know Elton Brand. Raisin Bran. No, it's like they're saying like he's good, so he could fight Elton Brand. Or what was his name? So I could have
Brand. Alexander, isn't it Alexander Brand?
It's Brand. It's Brand with a D.
Yeah, but what is it though? First name?
Alexander, right?
Alton. I think it's Alton Brand or something like that.
Oh man.
I gotta look it up.
So Brand all right, I'm just gonna call him Brand for the record.
He's a name brand.
He's a name brand. Okay.
Why are people name brand?
So you want to hear an analogy, and this is partly what's wrong with the sport. Because if you want to hear a good analogy, right? To say Andre Ward, he did his thing, he's good in the Super 6. That's like you having a girlfriend, right? And for 5 years.
I was right. Alexander Brand.
I'm sorry, Ness.
Okay, so all right. So saying Andre Ward was good in the Super 6, it's like you saying that you had a girlfriend, and for the first 5 years of the relationship, she was the best girl. She was loyal. She did everything for you. She just took care of all needs. She was a good girl. Then for 2 years, she kind of was like lackadaisical. She put on a little weight. She ate food. She wasn't there. Then now she's coming back, trying to I guess revamp the relationship, but it's with some bullshit. Like, she's instead of like making real meals, she's going to going to the store, getting like pre-made pasta. She's fucking around. Like, why does Andre Ward get a fucking pass for fighting these bums? These are bums. This is not what Triple G is fighting.
Your analogy was
That's a chauvinistic analogy. You think Mrs. Gibbs, all she does is cook? She does a lot of good things at that house. Not just
I don't know. I try to make a good analogy. It's a bad analogy. But the fact is that Andre Ward is getting, I guess, apologist when Triple G is the same fans, and we all know these are the same fans that are saying, who Triple G fight yet? Who has he fought yet? Andre Ward is getting, he's allowed to fight these fucking nobodies at super middleweight, moving up to light heavyweight.
Can I jump in here?
Obviously,
Go ahead, Robbie.
Obviously, it would have been good to wait for him to finish.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Go for it, Robbie.
Are you done? Are you done, MD? Because I don't want to step on you.
You already stepped to me, so go ahead, Robbie.
Okay, sorry about that. But first of all, number one, I am not an Andre Ward apologist. I hate what he's doing here. You know, when you win the Super 6 and you beat all
Look at what
the
Boxing
top-notch
MD
fighters that you beat, you don't have a right to fight Paul Smith and a couple other.
Well, he does, ladies and gentlemen, because he's scheduled, he's penciled in, it's happening. It's going to be on the Canelo Cotto undercard.
Wait, Robbie, he has the right to fight once Paul Smith. Then you move on. You move up.
He's fighting two.
Why? Why does he only have the right to fight one Paul Smith?
Paul Smith is
why?
Because I'm giving because I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt and saying he's been out of the ring for 2 years because of a litigation.
Boxing MD, honestly, we don't care about Andre Ward and Alexander.
No,
Brand.
we don't.
You're holding the show hostage right now. We're moving on. We're moving on.
Let me say one last thing before we go. People need to understand that, and this is about Andre Ward, but let me say this.
Oh my God!
Let me say this shit. Let me say this shit because I actually call in and I have points instead of just apologize for fighting. Okay. This is going to affect Sergey Kovalev fighting real opponents. Do you not fucking see that too? Another guy who we want to fight real opponents. If he's not going to fight Andre Ward until the end of next year, who the fuck is Sergey Kovalev going to fight? Nobody. Two fucking guys who are top 5 pound for pound are going to fight fucking nobody because Prince Andre Ward chooses to act like a fucking diva. This is a fact.
That's probably why Curtin Hirschman got fired for giving up this deal.
But you guys act like this is gonna happen forever. He's gonna fight one more person, then he's gonna fight someone decent.
And not only that, no. Listen. No. Let's say they fight in March, right? Let's say the next fight was Kovalev and Ward. Well, who would they fight after that? You think they're going to Stevenson after that? No, they're gonna fight bums after that. Like we can bump an hour later. Yeah, exactly. No, I know.
Listen, we got to move on, please.
Go for it.
We're going.
Andre Ward invented the mismatch. He's the first person to do that.
Yeah, right.
You guys have short memories. My God.
Yeah. To all the killers and the $100, I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers.
Yeah, what up, Ness?
What up?
Everybody in the panel, man. What's going on, man? Yeah, I watched that Malik Scott and all that, man. He's suspect, man. Like, it looking like Thompson look like an old dolphin trying to chase somebody getting a hit, man. It is crazy, man. And Malik Scott, man, I don't know what type of dude that is. I used to watch him on ES News and see Ellie Setback on that at the Goosey Gym and all that. I didn't know he fight like that. He's trash, man. I mean, I understand his obvious don't get stay away from him and all that, but his chin is definitely suspect. He don't even matter to Wilder knocked him out. Now him and Wilder best of friends. I understand that right there. And you know what I'm saying? So I don't know who's who, but this is what I want to talk about, man. What's up with the welterweight division, man? Like everybody signed Al Heyman got all them. So why nobody making a fight? So Porter and them ain't fighting this year. Dermot and them, Amir Khan, what's all the good people at? What's going on? It doesn't make sense, man. I don't understand it. It's like HBO. They doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? Crawford and all them, man, and even they gave Broner a shot. What's going on? What's going on with the Porter and them? Enlighten me, man. That's all I wanted to say, man.
All right, QB. Thanks for calling in, brother. Minnesota, 651. Who's this?
Yeah, what's going on? This is James. What's going on? Could you hear me?
James from Minnesota. What's going on, brother? Talk to us. We hear you loud and clear.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, man. I was listening to that dude before me talk, hating on Ward, man. That's pathetic, man. Like, first of all, like Ward been calling out little Triple G. He's been calling him out. And secondly, you know what I'm saying, he's a top fighter. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had one tune-up, like everybody has tune-ups. And he was talking about Triple G's resume. Like, Triple G hasn't fought one Hall of Fame fighter yet. He has not fought one Hall of Fame fighter yet. And Ward beat, Frost, he beat, you know what I'm saying, Chad Dawson, when Chad Dawson was hot right after Chad Dawson beat Hopkins. So if you look at the time frame of when you fought these people, you fought them at a time when they were hot. And to this day, Triple G hasn't fought nobody. And then I hear some people saying that I was reading somewhere where Sanchez said Triple G should go down and fight Floyd at 154. But it's like he's never even fought at 154, so why should he be fighting Floyd? And Floyd only fought there 3 times. Why not fight like the Charlo? Why not fight Lawyer? Why not fight Canelo? But you can fight Floyd at 154. You can move up to 168, fight Froch and Chavez Jr., but not Ward. I mean, if people didn't say that Triple G was this monster and everybody was scared of him, I wouldn't be mad. But people make it seem like everybody's scared of Triple G, which is not the case at all. You know, so, and just to hear people say that, it kind of is sickening. And then to hear this dude talk about Ward fighting a bum, of course, you know, nobody else. Who else was he going to fight? Like, who else was there for Ward to fight at 168, 172 when he fought in June? There was nobody for him to fight. So, you know what I mean? It's just.
What about now? There's nobody for him to fight now?
I mean, who could he fight right now? Better be this hurt. You know, he's not going to fight Kovalev now. I mean, I don't know. Like, could Pascal? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much credit would you give for beating Pascal?
Well, I'll give him more credit than Kovalev fighting Pascal a second time.
Yeah, for sure.
He could have fought Uneski. He could have fought Uneski Gonzalez. He could have fought Isaac Chalemba. And I'm not even mentioning people that are on the other side of town. I'm mentioning people that can actually make fights with.
I don't know, because if he did fight those guys that's your name, I never even heard of some of them dudes. If he did fight those guys, he would win, and he still wouldn't get credit. Now, like, I do hold hope that he does fight Kovalev. I think that would be an incredible fight. That's actually probably like a 55-40 fight, 45 fight that could go either way. But just to hear people just to kind of protect Triple G is just fucking sickening, man. It's like they make me want to see him lose because they hop on his dick so fucking much. It's like I want to see him get his fucking head knocked off so people can shut the fuck up. You know, it's like, and that's not even fair to Triple G because he himself seems like a humble guy. He seems like a good guy, like that you root for. Hey, Max, you know what I mean? Like when I hear him talk and I listen to his interviews, he seems like a respectable guy. He's a great fighter, but his fucking fans just make me sick. And so for that aspect alone, I want to see him lose so they go the fuck away and hop on somebody else's dick, or we could just have natural discussions.
Pacquiao Mayweather Part 2.
Yeah, that's beef, man. That's what it feels like too. It definitely feels like that. It's like, come on, man. It's like, I don't know, man. It's hard. Like you go on to different boxing forums, and I hear other callers calling in, and that's pretty much all people talk about. It's like, well, how don't we just hold everybody to the same standards and just kind of say fight each other?
Well, let me just say one thing to support your argument. At least we are going to get Kovalev versus Andre Ward. What are we gonna? We can't get guaranteed that we're gonna get Golovkin versus Cotto. We can't get Golovkin versus Canelo. But I can bet dollars to donuts that I'm 99% sure that we're gonna get Kovalev Ward next year. So I'm not too disappointed. I think I'm more excited about what Ward's gonna do next than what Triple G's gonna do next because that's a great fight. Him and Kovalev. That's a great fight. I'll endure another mismatch if I can get that fight.
Hey, James, man, thanks for calling in all the way from Minnesota. Let me go to Georgie Porgy. Georgie, what's going on?
Yo, what's happening, people? I leave for a couple of days, and this shit become a crow fest. What's popping?
So you didn't pick Tony Thompson, huh? You picked Malik Scott.
No, bro.
You're a fucking liar, man. Listen, nothing you say matters unless you say it on this show.
Okay, that's how we're going to play it now. That's okay.
Right. That's right. If you call in every single episode, why wouldn't you make your pick?
I didn't call last week.
I know, but you want to call in to say that you did pick him, but nobody knows. Nobody could back that up.
I know this much. I didn't pick the loser.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I could not do the show and call in Sunday and say I didn't pick the loser either. Get out of here.
Yo, let me get into the shotty, bro. Cause we gotta do something about this moderator, man. That wasn't fair, man.
You ain't fair, obviously.
No.
Why you the only one calling in and talking about the moderator?
Well, if you check the shot, I'm not the only one not happy with you.
What did you say? What did you say?
I didn't say nothing.
You sure? You sure you didn't say? You sure you didn't say nothing about Beeb? You sure you ain't say nothing about Beeb?
Well, Beeb has sent me.
Nah. Yo, we just
What do you say about
unblocked
me?
you.
What do you say about me?
Yo, no, don't worry about it, Beeb. You don't need to belittle yourself to get to his level. Listen, we unblocked you. You better respect that.
Listen.
Nah, finish your call. Finish your call, man.
Yo. Listen, about Beeb, I said it before, and do don't mind. He throw heat back.
Nah.
Play like that. Some of us play like that.
Nah.
If you're not in the mix, you should not get in the mix.
Beeb don't play with you like that.
War. Let me talk about War before you cut me off, bro. I want to talk about War. War got a resume.
Who?
Anybody? Andrew War.
How you spell that, man? Andre who?
Ward.
Okay.
Andrew Ward got a resume, bro. We can't be fucking frog leaping niggas on front of War just because of inactivity. I know it's what you have done for me lately. But come on, bro. Triple G have never fought no type of opposition even close to this nigga have fought in his prime, man. And people are gonna come in.
Georgie, they're not in the same division. You know that, right?
Talking about opposition.
But they're not in the same division.
I'm talking about opposition. That's what I'm talking about, opposition. We're going about resume. If you compare resume, they're not even close. That nigga earned his spot. He earned his spot here, bro. And all this only because HBO and all this fucking mafia back in Triple G.
Mafia.
All these goddamn mafia, you know how they do, man. Come on, bro. So these people back in Triple G up all the time, and then other fighters that the fucking boxing is really hard, bro. Nothing is easy on boxing, and a lot of shit that Triple G got on his career be served to him in a silver platter.
Yo,
you can't deny that
why
shit.
Why you hating on Triple G, man?
I'm not hating. Those are facts. Facts, baby. He got an easy road, a pampered road where he at.
But why that makes you upset?
Because how you gonna have ND talking all this shit about War like War is nobody, like they on the same level? My nigga, War proved himself many times. Many times. So even if they fight and Triple G win, that doesn't mean that War is not elite. Like the other callers say, War 4 elite. Even you can even call fucking Frosh the best competition at his time and he beat it. Where the fuck is a Frosh on Triple G list? He don't have nobody even close like that. That's a simple argument. That's what I'm saying. Great show. Thumbs up.
Hey, Triple G.
George.
Triple Georgie. Triple Georgie. That's what we should get his intro to be. Triple Georgie. Something like that. Matt, write that down. Let me see what we got. Scorsese, talk to me. Scorsese.
Yeah, I'm here. I couldn't unmute the phone. You got me?
We got you.
Okay. Yeah, I missed a few weeks, but I'm just gonna talk about a few little points that I would have put my 2 cents on. Liam Smith and Shane Mosley. Man, how this dude who Shane Mosley think he is, bro? Like, what the he can't sign a rematch clause and he getting a fight after he just fought Mayorga? A dude, come on now. Please give Andre the shot and get that belt back so this man can get started on running boxing, see what we can get going. What's some more stuff that been going on in the sport of boxing? The dude from HBO stepping down, the Hirschman, man. Y'all don't realize like that man ducking got somebody fired? Could y'all imagine if Floyd ducking got somebody fired? Man, like,
what you
come
mean,
on, this
Floyd
ain't
ducking?
I'm just saying, like, the way it's been wrote, like, you know, with Lil Dougie and them writing stories every day. What's the little Chinese man writing stories every day? If Floyd would have got somebody fired for terrible numbers and ducking, like, we'd have never heard the end of it. This dude went in there, he didn't want to take a pound for pound fight, and he got a man, food took off his table. And probably more people to go with him. And nobody say nothing about it. Like, well, I don't know. I haven't been able to cover boxing for the last week. But
I don't even know what you're talking about. B, do you even understand him?
Triple G, man, the dude got fired. Hirschman got laid off.
Laid off for what though? What are you insinuating?
I think he's trying to say what I said about how the pay-per-view numbers he may be getting blamed for putting that fight on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
or something.
but come on, man. We would be very, small-minded people to think that one pay-per-view cost this man his job. Come on.
Yeah, but come on, can't one pay-per-view turn everything around too? Though they would say, "Wow, you did 6,000 with a new star, 600,000 with a new star. You just changed everything around." It didn't, bro. Like, this was on him to do something with it. He ain't do it. He didn't take a fight. I ain't gonna stay on Triple G. I just want to touch on a few things. I haven't got the card. Just get some people where my mind at. What else we got? All that shit with what's his name? The black guy that was running the whole time. I seen him fight before, but I think Lydell Rhodes. Man, that shit was so funny to me. It's so funny when a person can't fight and all they have learned how to do was run, and it come down to it, and he just started getting binked up. I'd be in here rolling, man. But Tony from Detroit. Can't remember Tony from Detroit. What's his last name?
Harrison.
Yeah, Tony Harris. I still like him, man. I think he might pull that Badu Jack effect. He might not become a world champion and defend twice, but I think just like we seen Badu Jack, he got KO'd the next few fights. That man came out on his bike. But he started taking them shots a little bit better, and Tony got an inside game that we all done seen before. So I like Tony Harrison. I think he'll be back. He might get a belt. He at 154. He got shots to get a belt and him. But that's just I guess that's all I got right there.
All right, Scorsese. Latest. What we got? We got Matt. You're up.
Hey, Ness. How you guys doing? Hold on, let me background noise. I just wanted to say real quick that Beeb, I was the first caller last show, and I picked Scott. I knew Scott.
No, you picked Scott. I know you picked Scott. It was just like me, you, and James. That's it. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
And I just want to say that, so the caller was saying.
Well, you've embraced the Beeb Force though. You've embraced the Beeb Force. Like Ness won't embrace the Beeb Force.
Yeah, the Beat Force is strong, but I just want to go over that card real quick. It's so funny because so many people said that Starks fight was a draw and add me to the list because I think I had Figueroa up 2 rounds with 2 rounds up, and I had Starks win the last 2 rounds easy. So and I was pretty disappointed in those cards, but I wrote an article on that Davis kid, Gervonta Davis, about him like how Floyd, that's his pretty much most highly touted fighter, and he's got ridiculous power for being 135, it looks like. But not to spend too much time on that card. The NBC Sports card, I didn't see Plant fight, so I'm kind of disappointed when I looked on BoxRec, saw he got the decision. That kind of disappointed me. But I don't want to go into the Andre Ward thing at all, but I think the HBO deal, a 3-fight deal, I honestly think the one reason they made that is not because Andre Ward gets some tune-ups. They're still holding out on that Stevenson fight. They still are just like, it's like a pipe dream at this point. But they say, hey, maybe if we make a 3-fight deal, maybe Kovalev fights Pascal in January. He's got, Andre Ward's probably not going to be ready. It's the way he fights till like early 2017 or late 2016. So, hey, maybe Stevenson can happen next summer, they're still banking on that. I don't know who said, but whoever said, that maybe they got Hirschman out because maybe he wasn't willing to be with the PBC, because let's face it, there's probably some people, it's almost like a revolution, and the revolution happens and you're outnumbered 10-1, let's say, you're in that office and the leader group saying, we're still in the war, we're still going, but probably 7 or 8 other people in that office out of 10, let's say, are going to probably saying, we got to get this guy out of here, we got to go with them, man, it's going to be better if we just all join, and I think that's what could be happening here. And I hope it is. I hope PBC can, I hope HBO is what if HBO is the top PBC platform, not to get into too much about that, but it'd just be nice to see everyone just almost come into one, because as a boxing fan, no one wants to see just the PBC fighters fight the PBC fighters and the HBO. We all want everyone to fight each other, and it's both sides at this point, it's not Al Heyman, it's not, Golden, but it's everybody at this point. They just have to man up. But, what do you call it? Are you guys going to talk about the Wednesday card at all, the Povetkin fight? Because, I mean,
yes,
like, you know, maybe not this show, but, I mean, that'd be cool to do a show maybe like Tuesday or something for that little, like, that card. Because there's, I mean, I didn't know that dude who was 48-0 was fighting on that card.
Yeah, Conseca.
Yeah. I looked at him and I said, oh, shit, this dude, he's fighting like an undefeated dude. I mean, it's funny that he's going for 49-0. Like,
and no one knows.
So funny. I'm like, yeah, right. He's like, up here, he's 49-0, part 2. You know, here we go. But, I mean, yeah, that card is stacked. I mean, they got that Lebs even. I mean, I'm still really excited about the second wall fight. But, I mean, let's see, what else? I mean, yeah, I mean, Charlo calling out Mayweather was weird. I mean, I get that, like, Mayweather still has that belt at 154. I brought that up last show. But, I mean, like, he ain't fighting you, bro. Like, who are, like, you know, like, you're, like, you're not even on his list, bro. Not even on his radar. Mayweather's not looking for fights at this point in his career. He's looking for money, man.
But what if he is, though? What if it's like a PBC fight? Could you see that happening?
Well, let me ask you guys this real quick. I'm sorry. Do you think he wanted Mayweather, or did you think he wanted Mayweather to just, you know,
No, he wants the belt. He made it clear.
He wants the belt. He just wants the belt. He doesn't want Mayweather per se, because it's kind of
like Triple G. It's like Triple G. He say he doesn't want Canelo or Cole. He wants the belt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not really about a Mayweather thing. It's about Mayweather relinquishing those titles that he's not going to defend, and stop fronting on that, because, I mean, Christ, he's not going to fight a junior middleweight, so why does he have those titles? The sanctioning bodies are really acting suspect on that.
Yeah, but, I mean, why don't you think he'll fight a Charlo if he fought a Canelo?
I don't think he'll fight a Charlo.
Canelo's way bigger than Charlo, you know, but, I mean, I just want to make one final point about the PBC. I think the PBC in 2016, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is what, like, I would love to see happen. They need to have 3 tournaments in 3 different weight classes.
That's awesome.
154 and 175. It may be
That's
heavyweight,
awesome.
but, you know, probably just be like a ticket to fight Wilder, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, all the names they have in those divisions, it's ridiculous. And I really do think that, like, 2016 is just going to be the PBC year. Because, yes, you said, like, you know, like, you're just building it slowly. Like, people who criticize PBC, I said, you know, this is like a 2.5 year plan, right? It's only 6, 7, 8 months in. Like, I think it's going to peak, not now, but maybe towards the end. You know, that's, if you're from a business stance, if you have a product and for 2.5 years, you'd rather it peak a little towards the end rather towards the beginning, because that, like, you know, yeah, the first impression's good, but that last impression is going to, when you decide 3 months left, all right, do we want to renew? Do we want to get this back? And I mean, I'm expecting a huge year from the PBC in 2016. I really am. So go on, what we got saying?
No, well, Matt, listen, I'm going to get to some other callers so we can get out of here, but I agree with you totally, man, and that Fox deal, not Fox Sports 1 or Deportes, that Fox deal, that's big news, and I can see why they would rather wait. Since Keith Thurman has been the inaugural everything, first he was the inaugural ESPN and PBC on NBC, making him the inaugural on Fox makes sense. 903, you're live. Who's this? Calling from Texas.
Hey, what's going on this field from Texas?
What up, Tito? Talk to us.
What do you think about Spitz fighting in Dallas? I saw it on his Instagram.
Yeah, man, he's fighting Dallas, but he's gotten, you know, he's fighting hometown, but it's not a good opponent.
So you don't think he'll be ready for Thurman or Porter next after that one?
I don't know, man. I mean, the guy that he's fighting isn't getting him ready for a Thurman or a Porter. That's for sure.
All right. Well, what was your statistics for last week on the genetic looking haters or detractors? I think you said most of them were black. You didn't get the final count.
No, I didn't get it. I didn't get a final count. I just called them out as they called in.
Okay. Well, I have much. This weekend was kind of dry. I just been listening to the show, so on to the next one.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for calling in, man. We appreciate the support, man. Definitely. Let me see here. We got 585. Five six two.
Yo, what's up? Nice to meet Steven.
Steven, what's up, brother? Matt.
What's up, man? This is the show.
Put that down.
Hey, man. So I wasn't able to catch the fights this weekend. You know, I was catching up on schoolwork, and then last night Halloween. So,
dude, you don't got a DVR?
We had a good night out. Anyways, I just want to get real quick.
Ho, buddy. You don't have a DVR?
What? No, man. I'm a broke college kid. I just got cable, man. Hey, I'll tell you what. If anybody out there wants to help me get a DVR, I'm all ears. But I'm lucky I'm able to have.
Send me your address. I'll get you a DVR. I can't tolerate this.
What?
Beeb, you know.
Send me your address. I'll send you a DVR.
Beeb, you know a DVR is monthly subscription. I mean, I don't know. He's in Cali. I know in Jersey we got.
I'll get him a DVR. I'll talk to Al.
Beeb's everybody rich uncle.
And shout out to Beebs because not only is he good at that, but like he's able to make the people money. Because Beebs, you've been on point, and I gotta admit, I didn't think that Malik Scott would be able to win, but you saw it, and you know you're making people money as well as the boxing voice. What's the
Can I ask you a question?
Did you make up?
Can I ask you a question?
Yo.
Are you willing to come over to the Beeb Force?
Bro, I've been a believer.
Hey, wait. Steven,
since the segment started, I've been a believer.
All right, okay.
Steven,
See, and I have another.
He doesn't know what you did yet, Steven. We haven't presented to him yet. We're waiting.
All right, okay.
What'd you do, Steven? What'd you do, Steven?
No, we can't tell you, B.
Hold on, B. I gotta be honest. If I'm gonna be in the Beeb Force, I gotta get this off my chest. I text Ness last show after I called in because I forgot to tell him my pick, and I picked Thompson that he would outwork Scott.
Okay.
So he's coming clean. He's coming clean.
All right. Well,
he doesn't want any lies in between you guys.
Before, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna tell you I've been riding with Beeb the whole time because I was, and to me the only so far since the segment started, the only disagreement I had with you was on Malik Scott beating Thompson. Because to me, I was like, no way, man. Like Malik Scott, he gets comfortable boxing. He likes it against. I don't know why, but I think he sees himself as like Muhammad Ali sometimes, and he likes chilling on the ropes. He tries to rope a dope, and he gets up being that dope on the rope. So there was no way that I really saw him kind of outworking the older man because I thought to me the older man had more to prove. And like how, Ness pointed out on the show before, I thought he was going to try and work his way up to another title fight with Wilder or something like that along the line. So I saw him, stepping up being like, this would be a good name win. It'll be a lot of attention, and it'll help me get there again. Because I really saw him as a more hungry person because I felt Malik Scott was more comfortable where he was at, like how he likes to be comfortable on the ropes. It didn't happen. And I've never had Crow on the show before, but officially I didn't call in to make the pick. But if you want my first Crow to be like this, I'll be okay with that.
I don't even want you to give him Crow. You know why? Because he's coming over to the Beeb Force. He's part of the Beeb Force squad now. No Crow.
Ooh, I like that ruling. I like that judging. I second that. Do I get an opinion?
Crow.
I second
no
that.
Crow. Look at Ness's face. Look at Ness's face. Looks like that cat that just ate the rat.
I just had to come clean for a day. Anyways, so I'm gonna get to watching the fight either today or tomorrow as quick as I can get good links. Somebody you can message me the links at Calderon92, and I just wanted to do a shout out real quick to the show, of course, all you guys working hard. And if you want boxing news, I just gotta give a shout out to the Boxing Voice News. Get on the website, guys. We're posting daily all the time. A lot of good articles. Matt's got really good writing stuff. If you haven't read his stuff, go read it. We're putting in work as a TVV and CVV.
Hey, there's two Matts out there. There's a Matt Luzi and a Matt Berg.
Luzi. I mean, not to hate on Matt Berg. I haven't read as much of his stuff yet, but all of them were all good. Come on, guys. Let's not be picky. Because we're giving you your fix, and here's to the voice of the people.
Ness, can I say one thing before I forget? Because Davy Boy Essex, my UK friend who always sends me fights, sent me a fight of Lee Selby's younger brother who had his pro debut this weekend, and he scored a first-round knockout over Haj Juma. And this was over in the UK, so I just want to make sure I say that. And this is why I'm always up to date on things. This is why I'm getting educated from the UK. Shout out to Davey Boy Essex. He's my friend on Twitter, my friend on Facebook, and he sends me these fights. So be on the lookout for Lee Selby's younger brother, Andrew Selby. He's a flyweight. And he reminds me of a Prince Nassim Hamed, an orthodox version of a Prince Nassim Hamed. So I want you guys to keep your eye out for this guy. Ness is a UK hater, but I hope he doesn't hate this guy. This guy looks like he's going to be something.
All right. Listen, Steven, got to run. Thank you for calling in. Compa, talk to me.
Hey, what's up, boss? Happy Sunday, baby. What's up? Who's on the
Me and the Beeb.
I hear Beeb.
That's me, baby.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? First and foremost, let me get that crow, baby. Shout out to Malik Scott, man. You know, he did his thing. He beat the guy, you know, Tony Thompson. You know, I'm not even trying to make excuses not to eat crow. You know, I hate when people do that, make a big deal just to eat crow. It's all good. And what I gotta say is, you know, ready for this week, baby. Bradley Rios. I got my boy Bam Bam all day. And you know, I just want to say, pray for Pritchard Colon. You know, us as boxing fans, you know, we talk a lot of shit about the fighters and this and that, but, you know, we really take that for granted, man, and we just got to, you know, appreciate what they do, because not everybody has balls to go in there and fight. Shout out to the Boxing Voice, baby, Ness, Beeb, everybody. Let's go, baby. Lakers all day. Yeah! Woo!
Yo, he be... Yo,
you know, I love these callers have been very enthusiastic lately. They're starting to feel the vibe of the Boxing Voice. They're starting to feel the Beeb Force. I'm happy with that.
The Beeb Force. Oh, God. This guy is bugging with the Beeb Force. Let's see here. We got Connecticut 203. You're up.
Yo.
Yo, what's going on?
How you guys? What's up, guys? I just got to comment on one thing that really doesn't have nothing to do with this show, if that's all right.
Go ahead, real quick.
Okay. I have a problem with fans saying Manny Pacquiao is lying. How the fuck is he lying if he got Floyd's number? He could call him up and negotiate a fight. Floyd is a free agent, so if they want to take the fight to HBO, it can happen as long as he doesn't stay retired. That's all I got, man.
All right.
I don't even know if Manny Pacquiao is lining up, because Floyd will tell you he's not negotiating even when he is negotiating. He's done that before.
Sure has. All right, let's get here to Canada. 647, you're up.
Yo, what up? What up? It's T from Toronto. How y'all living?
T, what up, man? I don't know why the producer never got your name down. That's crazy.
T's got a lot of phones, though. He's got a lot of phones.
I know.
Nah, I ain't got a lot of phones, man. I call up the same joint.
I know. That's the producer slacking.
I thought you had an iPhone and an Android.
Nah. This is the same joint, man. One shot, one kill. But speaking of shots, Ness, you had me in here rolling. You about dumped the whole clip on George. You hit him about 6 solid. Wow. I was in here dying. Shit you not. But beyond that, the whole Hirschman situation, I think the rest of the HBO kind of took the stance of the can't beat him, can't join him. Or if you can't beat him, you got to join him kind of thing. And Hirschman was probably standing all by himself. And once they kind of looked at what was going on and the stranglehold that they had on certain divisions and how popular it could be down the road, they just decided to part ways with him. But at least they respectfully did it, and they didn't just can him. They let him, quote unquote, resign. But with the whole Charlo Mayweather thing, I mean, obviously he's gonna call out, he's gonna say Mayweather's name is gonna get attention. But I think Mayweather's holding on hostage to the belts so that he could put his fighters up and coming in a position to get a title shot, and he could just let him go right then. Like the reason why he pushing Errol Spence so heavy to get a title shot. No, these other guys get a title shot. I think he's just holding on to the belts until those guys are somewhere up in the ranks. He can kind of politic their way into it through the back door. That's just my stance on it. And the last thing, now I didn't call in. You better not let no shots go, because I tweeted the shit. I made sure, because I was at work, I couldn't call in. I tweeted and I picked Malik Scott, and y'all retweeted me. So it's on there. It's proof. I ain't got no crow. Just like I picked Postal, and you went Postal on me for that shit. But from now on, if I miss, I'm at least send out a tweet, save face, Beeb on the hot street. I'm fucking with you. And I'm gonna get some TBV shit coming in, man. I ordered some shit. So I'll be repping it out here in Kansas.
All right, T. Only right, man. I mean, name T. Gotta have some TBV apparel on. JP from Long Beach, talk to me.
Hey, what's up, family?
What it do?
Hey, y'all there?
Hey,
yeah, man. It's like I always told you. It's about credibility, man. It's not about business decisions. It's not about executing and plotting out a career and making smart decisions. It's about guts and glory.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about where Andre Ward, who everyone says, who cares about him? He hasn't fought nobody. He can't draw this amount of people. Okay? So it's like, who cares? If the narrative is to say, why is he being talked about? And you know what I always come on and say? First of all, I want to say shout out to all my people with fake avatars. You're a bunch of wimps. But
yo, could you get out of the barbershop?
Oh, hold on, man. Shit, man. I'm at it's Sunday night. It's Sunday night football where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? That's how we get down. But fuck with me 1 second though. What I'm saying, it's all about guts and glory. Mayweather fought all them years, no credibility. It's who you fight, who we say is your guts and glory, is your finish, is where you cross the line. So for Triple G, it's over. For him, it's Andre Ward. So for Andre Ward, it's Kovalev. So for Andre Ward, he said, I'm going to go fight Boogeyman. I'm going to go fight the Boogeyman y'all said is my Boogeyman. Now, Triple G still going to always have his Boogeyman. Everybody has their Boogeyman. You know what I mean? And you can go, hey, fight at your division, get all your titles, and be there and be the lineal champ. You'll be Bernard Hopkins. Okay? You know what that means? You'll be well respected, but you won't be a pay-per-view attraction. Simply put, there's nothing else about it, dude. It's about guts and glory in this sport. We can respect retaining titles for amounts of time. That looks great. But Roy Jones wasn't fully Roy Jones until he went up to heavyweight. And then it's like, you know what, he's something worth paying for now. Bernard Hopkins wasn't Bernard Hopkins until he went and fought Tito Trinidad, who was at a smaller weight, but he was still someone perceived as a boogeyman. So we all got to go get that boogeyman, man. It's just that simple. If you can't understand, they always say, like, why are we even talking about Andre Ward? He hasn't fought anybody in three. You know why? He's boogeyman. Simply put, that is it.
All right, we got it. He's the boogeyman. We're going to have to see him scare somebody, though, JP. He's been scaring a bunch of bums lately, man. But you take it easy. Thanks for calling in. 917 New York City. Talk to me. New York City. Talk to me. 517. 517.
Hey, what's going on, Ness? LaMarcus.
LaMarcus, what's going on, brother?
Hey, not too much. I'm here checking out, but I just wanted to give a big thank you up to B because before the show I had picked Thompson, and right after the show went off, I had to change my pick up to Malik Scott. I'm talking about the coalition little picking thing. So I just want to give thanks for that, man.
You're very welcome. And I want to say one thing real quick. The line was a plus 155 during the show. When actually the fight went off, it went down to a plus 110. So a lot of late money did go on Malik Scott. I think a lot of people did watch Beating the Odds with Beeb on Thursday, and they put money down on Malik Scott. So thank you guys for supporting me.
They better have been watching.
Hey, you do your thing, man. I got to put my money down listening to you. Yeah, go ahead, Ness.
All right, LaMarcus, thank you for calling in, brother. Me and LaMarcus went and had some good old ribs in Florida, man, when we met up. North Carolina, 828. North Carolina, talk to me. And he got afraid. He got afraid. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
Fahim, what's going on, brother?
What's good, man? Long time no speak. You know what I mean? Going through some things, but you know, I always catch y'all every Thursday and Saturday. And when y'all did that little sneak ass show the other day too, my email, I didn't get the email for that. I was kind of upset. I caught the tail end of that shit, but it was still a good show. You know what I mean? Just want to holler, say what's up with y'all. You know what I mean? And I just want to say I'm black and I like Triple J. I'm not riding for him like these other dick riders is. He still need to fight somebody, but I'm not hating on him either. You know what I mean? I said I think he's the truth. You know, the eye test don't lie. You know what I mean? He just needs to be tested. And that's all I got to say. I'm just coming to this quick 1-2. Shout out to everybody. Yo, B, keep doing your numbers, yo. You're going to make everybody rich. Peace.
All right, Fahim. Fahim, I would have never guessed you was black. You got me. 203. 203. Connecticut.
Yeah, I just got a comment about the Ken Hirschman being. I believe he probably got fired instead of resigned because this guy couldn't make the Adonis Stevenson fight. He couldn't make a whole bunch of fights. So why would HBO keep not having Heyman fighters? They're running scarce, man. They only got like 2 fighters in some divisions. Some of them, they probably only got 1.
Hey, man, I agree with you.
Like, how is HBO going to make any money if they only got fighters who can't even sell 10,000 tickets? They views is down. I took my HBO subscription off. There's no fights that I want to see on there. That's all I got.
All right, brother. All right. Well, there are some notable upcoming fights, and the ones that we should speak of, obviously, is going to be on Wednesday, November 4th, 2015. It will not be televised, but it will be on TBV.com because we will be offering you the Alexander Povetkin versus Morique Vach pay-per-view. It's a heavyweight fight, 12 rounds. Also on the undercard, Denis Lebedev versus Latif Coyote, and that's going to be for Lebedev's WBA cruiserweight title. And then Raheem, I don't even know, versus Ola Obalafi, who's always a good cruiserweight and fun to watch. And then we got the undefeated Cesar Fonseca, who is going to attempt to tie the 49-0 record of Mayweather in the same, well, actually a division underneath, junior welterweight. So there are some good fights. There's also another fight that I can't pronounce, but, check it out. The information will be on the site. Obviously, on Friday, we'll have Showbox. So set your DVRs. Antoine Douglas versus Les Sherrington. We've been watching a lot of Antoine Douglas and watching him develop. And on Australia TV, the return of Martin Honorio. Talk about mismatches or, bad fights, huh? On Australia TV / Ring TV, Martin Honorio is back in action as a headline. And Joette Gonzalez on the undercard. On HBO, we got Timothy Bradley versus Brandon Rios. This fight definitely crept up on us. We're going to have the return of Vasyl Lomachenko versus no one. And a bunch of other guys that you never heard of except for Mike Reed. I mean, everyone knows him, but I don't know any of these other guys. Gunnar Jackson. Oh, man. Rayota Murata. Miguel Mariaga. Yeah. I know him, but I don't know Guillermo Alivia. Man, see? I'm just saying, it's the same all around the world, man. On NBC Sports Net in Miami, Florida, more of the same. Frederick Lawson versus Kevin Bizier. I guess that's a decent fight. Whatever. Walter Castillo versus somebody I never heard of. Obra? Kitia? Obra? I don't know. And this is a IBF junior welterweight eliminator. So that's Lamont Peterson's title eliminator. And on untelevised in Monte Carlo, Ruslan Pavatnikov is back in action versus Jesus Alvarez Rodriguez. Somebody send me a link on that. This is ridiculous. See what I'm saying? Too many fights, not enough networks properly airing these fights. It is what it is. You know, we're going to get a lot of developmental stuff. With the shakeup in boxing, it is what it is, guys. As boxing fans, we should just appreciate that we get a little bit extra every day. Beeb, any final thoughts before we head on out of here? Beeb.
I'm just very excited about November. Actually, November 1st today, so we got the Cotto-Canelo fight. I can't wait for that. And I'm so excited about the Tyson-Fury matchup. And I'm just looking forward to next year, man. I'm really loving boxing right now. I don't have many complaints because, you know, I'm a realist. I know not every fight's going to be a blockbuster, but there have been a lot of blockbusters this year. So I just want to say I'm very happy, and I look forward to the new year.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't been upset. This has been one amazing year. I mean, just the fact that, you know, we got Mayweather-Pacquiao, something that I've been waiting for forever, along with a bunch of other stuff. I cannot complain with this year. I look forward to 2016, and we're nowhere near that. I mean, we still got Brandon Rios and just a bunch of other stuff to get out there. But remember, send me any messages at my Twitter, at NestGTO. I'm always there to talk. And remember to subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at ThaBoxingVoice or at NestGTO or at JHabib1, because you never know when we do a spontaneous show. I'm really saddened to hear that so many of you missed out on that Andre Ward episode. I don't understand. I mean, we sent the internal emails, and I hope the next time you can get it. But if you stay updated to our Twitter or download our app, you should know, because there are notifications on the app. And if you're not getting notifications, you better tweet Jameson Rocket at Jameson Rocket, Jameson with an I. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us for this, Sunday's edition of our review show for Jermell Charlo and Joachim Alcine and Tony Thompson versus Malik Scott review, and all the other cards that have to do with that fight. And we will be back for you guys on Thursday, and maybe if not, a spontaneous show to talk about this Povetkin and Maurice Vach fight. Since we are going to be hosting it on the website, we might as well do a little quick preview show. So once again, man, thank everyone for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, drop us a 5-star review. And remember, this is a listener-driven show, so your support is greatly appreciated. Head on over to ThaBoxingVoice.com and drop a donation. $1, $2, it doesn't matter. Keep the lights on. Later.
See you later.